Justice Douglas Miller of the 4th District Court of Appeal was a practicing trial lawyer here in the Coachella Valley, a Superior Court bench officer, and is now an appellate court justice. My understanding is that he does a lot of work for our Chief Justice of our California Supreme Court. And frankly, if it were up to me, and I think for the people that actually know, we might have a new member of the California Supreme Court maybe addressing us here. Might be a while, but I think if there's anybody in this state that's qualified, it's Justice Douglas Miller.
So congratulations. So we're going to see how I do on time, because kind of at this stage in my life, I consider that I have 8 bosses, the 7 Supreme Court justices. Now, I said 8, so there's one other. I know you think that the Chief Justice is Tani Cantil-Sakaui, but in my life, the Chief Justice is my wife, Phyllis Miller. So those are my 8 bosses. I have the time limit, but we'll see how I do. So one of the first things I was struck with when I walked in here today were your faces, all of your faces and the faces of the audience. It was absolutely amazing, the joy in each of your faces. You could see what was inside of you, and it impacted me inside. But what I want to do, and I'm going to ask you to do something, but judges are really good about ordering people to do something. One of the joys I have as a judge are to perform weddings, to perform adoptions, and then also occasionally to get to ask to do something like this, speak at a law school graduation, swear in new lawyers. And something I always do, whether it's an adoption or a wedding, whoever the participants are, I ask them, and I'm going to order you to stand up and turn around to the audience. So if you'd all stand up just for a second, because I want you to look out, because I want there to be something distinctive about today that you remember. And that's your family and friends and those who have come here today, because they sacrificed as much as you did. Faces. Remember their faces and remember the joy, because they are just as happy as you. So you please give them a standing ovation. All right, thank you. So you may be seated. So I want to illustrate my next point with a story. And I think I have the unique opportunity of having met all of you very soon within your first year. It may have been within the first week or two, having an opportunity to speak to you. At that point, see the fear in your eyes and the uncertainty. And then I had the pleasure of teaching your last class and your last day at law school. And I got to see how you grew and how you developed and how your thought changed and how you became lawyers. So I want to illustrate that with a point. If you know Doug Miller, you know that I love tennis, and I've played tennis all my life. I think since I was about 8 years old. And a few years back, I was playing at the club that I am a member of, the Tennis Garden, a few years back when it used to be at the Hyatt Grand Champions. And if you ever were there, you knew that they had a court that was sunken. It was about 8 feet below the surface of the ground and the walkway. And everyone who played there regularly, and I don't want to say physically fought, but they fought to get to play on that court. And the reason is because for some reason, when you would hit the ball, because the walls were cement, because it was 8 feet below the surface of the ground, it made you sound like Pete Sampras or Andre Agassi. I didn't hit the ball that hard, but man, when you hit it, it just sounded like it was going 100 miles an hour. I'm playing on a Saturday morning. I'm playing doubles with a regular group of people. I'm returning serve. So if someone is serving to me, I'm standing at the baseline. They hit me the serve. I hit the ball back. The person at the other side hits it and hits it right at my feet. And I'm standing on the baseline, and I had a choice. I could try to hit this ball back, but I was just hoping it was going to go out because I didn't think I could hit it back and make a good return. So I thought, well, I'm going to let it go because I think it's out. Well, guess what? I could see it clearly that it was in by about 1/4 of an inch. And you know what? I said, great shot. The person on the other side of the net who couldn't see where that ball hit, couldn't tell if it was really in or out, said, nice call, thank you. Now behind me there was a walkway where people who were either at the tennis facility or staying at the hotel would walk by. And as players, you didn't really pay much attention to who was behind you. But as the other person said, nice call, someone from behind me said, what would you expect from a judge? And I turned around, and it was the tennis pro for the facility. I didn't know he was there. Now think what he would have thought. Think what he would have thought if I had called the ball out. He saw it was in. He saw what I saw. And he didn't say, nice call, Doug, or nice call, tennis player. He said, what would you expect from a judge? Today, you are all lawyers. And your life is going to change in how people perceive you. You had professions before, you have families, you have other responsibilities. But today, you're a lawyer. And you're a lawyer 24 hours a day. Don't mean you have to be dressed up 24 hours a day. You don't have to go around telling people about the law. But that's how people are going to perceive you. And I ask that you hold up that honorable profession and act as a lawyer. So when someone sees you do something, hears you do something, it reflects on you as a lawyer and the lawyer as a profession. That's my first point. My second is, you also have a great responsibility, and that is you are also members of the judicial branch. You are honored individuals and officers of the court, and the court needs your assistance. We need you to make sure that you defend the judicial branch when it's wrongly accused, that when people say things about the judicial branch, that you are its greatest defender. Because in my mind, and again, I'm biased, but in my mind, the third branch of government that was formed that many, many years ago was the glue that held the other two branches together. Without it, we don't have a democracy. Without it, we don't have freedoms. And when people criticize it and want to take away those privileges and rights, you are the defenders. Defend it in your life, defend it in your work, and defend it in your conversations. So the last thing is I feel remiss that I didn't know your last class was the one that Judge Chapman and I taught. And if it had been, I would have brought cupcakes, because that's one of the things that I like to do, is to make cupcakes. So I have an offer. If you will invite me when all 11 of them are being sworn in, I will bring 11 cupcakes for each of them. So thank you for letting me be a part of your law school, for being a part of your life, and for being a part of you as lawyers. So Russell, Nicole, Tanya, Cynthia, Jennifer, Kelly, Beatrice, Anthony, Douglas, Veronica, Claudia, congratulations.
So you have an appointment in November. That's 11 cupcakes for 11 passes, right? We need the pass rate. I don't want to put any pressure on you, but we're not going to be accredited by the state bar unless you pass, so no pressure.